So you left everything in China?
Yes, my
And then
job and etc. And then,
you decided to just come back to
come back
Zimbabwe.
home. I didn't have a plan, but I just thought, look, let me just, at home is home. My future, as I see it, is in Zimbabwe.
Yes.
And I want to be in Zimbabwe.
So did you have a specific plan? If I go to Zimbabwe, I'm gonna do this?
No, I didn't. And actually, a lot of people thought I was crazy.
Of the internet, today I am at a farm. This farm is interesting. I am with Mr. Keith of Vitagrow Urban Farm.
All right, so we do farming, hydroponic farming.
All right.
So what hydroponic?
Hydroponic. Okay.
Hydroponic.
All right.
What hydroponic is it's a method of farming that doesn't use soil.
You don't use soil?
We don't use soil.
Yeah, you're farming.
We're farming.
There's no soil.
Without soil. So as you can see, we actually have a floor.
Yes.
Right,
yeah.
Where we don't even use the soil at all.
Yeah.
So just a quick one.
Yes.
With hydroponics, what happens is, let me show you right here.
Okay.
So all our nutrition is found in water. Right?
Water.
Hydro means water.
Yeah.
So that's where we get all our nutrition from.
All
so
right.
when the water recirculates through the system, that's where the plants get the nutrition. So the system in a nutshell, if I'm quick, is there's water in there. There's a pump. The pump pumps water through, if you can see.
All right.
So the pump is on 24/7. And it's
24/7.
Yes, and it's pumping water and recirculating.
So you are telling me that there is not even a single grain of sand or manure or anything in here?
No, there's nothing. Let me show you exactly what I mean.
Yes.
So when the water goes, as you can see, the water then recirculates.
Okay.
Right? If you can see, this is the return water.
This is returning.
Yes. So
all these ones.
Yes. So all our water is recirculating, which means we save up to 90% of water compared to soil-based farming.
All right.
Yes.
Up to 90%.
Yes.
So that means if you are using, let's say, 1,000 liters, you use that 1,000 liters like for how long?
So it depends on the number of plants.
Okay.
Because plants drink water.
All right.
So if you have a lot more plants, you use that less. But on average, compared to the soil, like I mentioned, you use about 90% less. So if you're gonna use, if it's in the soil, you're using 1,000 liters, you probably need 10 liters to do it with hydroponics for the same.
Yeah. I've never seen anything like this. Like ever since I've been to all kinds of farms, I've seen people doing all kinds of things, but I've never seen anything like this. So this is, yes.
So let me show you when you said about the soil. Let me look for a nice big one.
Okay.
So as you can see, if you remove like this,
all right.
Can you see? There's no soil.
No soil.
Yes.
So it works like
actually the roots. You can take it and put it back into these channels, right? Let me take another one for you. You can see. So the roots are just feeding with, in water.
So, like I'm actually trying to understand like the science. Can you explain the science behind this?
Right. So what happens is, with soil, right? For crops to grow, crops just need certain nutrition.
Yes.
Right? All soil does is it provides that nutrition, and it also provides a media to hold the roots together.
Yes.
So what it means is with hydroponics is, you find what the plant needs. There's things like magnesium, copper, etc., etc.
Okay.
And then you put those things into water.
Okay.
Right, so once you put it in water, because when the plants are drinking water, they are drinking the nutrients as well.
All right.
So what that means is you've basically taken out the need for soil.
For soil.
Right. And people would ask, why no soil? What's wrong with soil?
Yes.
Because we've got plenty of land in Zimbabwe.
Yes.
And we've been doing this for centuries, right?
Yes.
So what hydroponics is there's a lot of misconception. Hydroponics is not there to take away normal soil-based farming.
Soil,
right?
yes.
This is just an improved method of growing, right? Mainly for horticultural crops.
For horticulture.
Yes, especially for people in cities.
Yeah.
Right, because if you can see this table here that you're seeing here, we just call it a table, an NFT table.
NFT table.
About 380 plants growing here.
So
the total square meterage of it's 8 square meters, and you can grow 380
380.
yes. But in the ground you would need a much bigger space.
A much bigger
How we
space, more than
achieve
this.
that is, you see all of these
Yes.
these channels, they're actually removable.
So you can actually move
You can move it, you can put it closer, you can, you know, put it wide apart, you can fit more heads inside. So that's the first thing,
Guys.
first advantage of hydroponics.
This is amazing, my brother.
thank you,
This is
thank you,
amazing.
thank you,
Like
thank
I am speechless. I don't really know what to say.
Yeah.
But this is just amazing.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so you mean to say 380 heads,
Yes,
right?
of lettuce, yes.
So if you are going to be using normal land, maybe I will use this whole space
Yes.
to have this one.
Yes, this is a 120 square meter greenhouse. I think maybe you could fit maybe 600 heads of lettuce in here, but just in 8 square meters you can put 380 heads. So already you see the space saving.
Yes.
Yes, so the idea with hydroponics is it's meant to allow people without too much land.
Too much land, yes.
Even in the urban areas, because with urban areas there's not a lot of farming happening, obviously, because there's not
Yeah,
too
there's
much
no- there's
vast
no
land,
land, yes.
But everyone has basically got a backyard farm or
Yes.
backyard that they're not using or they're not using properly,
Yes.
and there's a lot of spare land all around. So you see
Yes.
that all the food that we consume here in Harare is grown in other cities,
Yes,
in the
that's very
other rural cities with a lot of land.
Yes.
So by the time it gets here, it's not as fresh anymore. It's lost its nutritional value, its taste. If you see in some of the shops or markets, you'll see that something would be harvested today, and maybe you'd eat it Monday or,
Yeah, that's
or
very
Tuesday.
true.
But with hydroponic farming, it allows you to farm right there in the city,
Uh-huh.
and then that means you're closer to your markets. So
Yes.
when we harvest our crops, it will take us, all our markets are within a 15-kilometer radius.
All right.
So that means that as soon as we harvest, within a few minutes, it will be at our markets. So you, the consumer, whether it's at a restaurant or a hotel or a market, you are consuming the crop as fresh as
Yes,
it is. There's
yes.
no transport wastage, there's no degradation. So that's another advantage of hydroponics that we focus on.
Hi. So yeah, can you explain? You said you put the nutrients, everything
Yes.
you put in
In
here.
the water, yes, and we measure
Okay.
how much nutrients are in there using what we call an EC meter.
Okay.
Right, so we measure the nutrients and the pH in the water,
Uh-huh.
and then it just starts recirculating, and then the roots start feeding. As
Okay.
you can see, so this is a smaller plant,
Uh-huh.
right? It's got smaller roots, as you can
Yes.
see. Then the
Yes.
bigger plants that I showed you have bigger roots.
Yes.
So as the water flows past the roots,
Uh-huh.
the roots are drinking the water, obviously, and then they're taking up the nutrients at the same time.
All right. So the water just flows
Yes, it just flows. There's a gradient. If you can see, all these pipes are at an angle.
at an angle. Yes.
So when the water hits here, it then flows naturally.
It flows
It's
naturally.
Gravity. And then when it gets there, there's a gutter.
Mhm.
And then it flows back.
Yeah. Can you go where there's a gutter so that I just want to show. All right.
Let me
all
show
right.
you. Let me show you like
Yeah,
this
like
side,
here, yes.
somewhere close. So it's the same concept as you can see.
Alright.
So this is the gutter.
Okay.
And the water flows in the
Flows in
gutter,
there,
and you can
and then
see
it goes that
back.
way.
Then it goes back to the tank, or what
Alright.
we call a reservoir. So let me show you some of these plants as well.
Yes.
So this greenhouse is an 8 by 15 square meter greenhouse.
Yes.
So that's 120 square meters. And in here we've got 4,500 heads of lettuce.
4,500 heads.
Yes, in here. How we achieve that is a mix
Okay.
between normal horizontal farming and vertical farming.
And vertical
As
farming.
you can see. So vertical
Okay.
farming is when you grow vertically, basically, to maximize the amount of production or crops you can put per
Okay.
square meter.
Yes.
Right. So this is so all these systems, right?
Yeah.
We bought them.
Okay.
Right. When we started, we bought these systems, but they're quite expensive.
All right.
Because you have to buy them from places like South Africa, China, etc. But over the years, we've started actually building our own systems. So if you can see this system, this is
Alright.
called the tower system. This was our first version, right? So it's the same concept. Here's the reservoir.
All right.
Right, you see the water is moving and going around.
Yes. Yes.
Right? And then it comes through the tower here, and the water is falling down, if you can see.
Oh.
So when it goes down, it then goes, and there's the gutter. It goes back into the reservoir. So this one tower here, it's got 52 plants.
52 plants.
Yes, this one.
This one.
Yes, and it's 2.5 meters tall. So if you can see per square meter, we can fit about 100 plants per square meter.
Wow.
Right, whereas in the ground per square meter, you can put maybe 13 plants.
Yeah.
10 to 13, depending on your interplant spacing.
All right.
But with hydroponics, you see that's how we maximize the little
space that we have. So this is your own making. This one.
Yes. Obviously, some research over the years, you can with
start
hydroponics, the nice thing is you can. A lot of this stuff has been done before, or it's been done in the West mainly, etc. But what we do is we look at what other places
are doing,
and
yes.
then we come and put our twist to it, because obviously we're using locally sourced materials. So we just use what we can to make sure the cost makes sense, and then at least you can still grow with it. So that's what we do. And then this is a vertical table system where we're growing our lovely herbs here. As you can see, we've got parsley.
Okay.
Right, we've got coriander, we've got marigold, lavender, thyme, basil.
So this one is specifically for
for herbs, but you can grow anything. Okay. But we just use this one for herbs because we've seen that herbs they like a bit of shade.
Yes.
Compared to other crops. So here they get the right amount of shade that they require to grow properly.
Because I actually wanted to ask, is it only for lettuce only?
So this system is called an NFT system. So it's for leafy greens. So anything that's leafy. So lettuce, herbs, strawberries, even the traditional lettuce, the iceberg lettuce, or cabbage, anything that's just leafy.
You can do cabbages as well?
Yes, you can. So these are the things you can do. Anything that's leafy, really, that you can do here. But with cabbages, obviously, cabbages get very big.
Yes,
so you need to space your channels a bit more. So you might get less heads for cabbages than you would
for lettuce
like this or herbs. Yeah.
All right. But cabbages, won't they be too heavy for the system?
Look, they won't be, because this thing is metal. As you can see, the frame is metal.
Oh, the frame is metal.
Yeah, so it won't be too heavy. It's just the fact of the size that it gets to. So you can do it, but you'll have less heads in here than you would greens like this.
All right. Well, what is that one?
This is called romaine lettuce.
Romaine lettuce.
Yes, this is a different type of lettuce. So at Vitagrow, we specialize in a lot of different varieties of lettuce. Why we do that is we do it according to our markets. So as I mentioned, we supply various restaurants, hotels, and farmers markets and supermarkets around Harare. So different markets have different tastes, different requirements. So some of our markets like romaine lettuce. Romaine lettuce is not found too widespread in Zimbabwe, but this is the main ingredient in the Caesar salad. Like when you're doing a Caesar salad, you should use romaine lettuce to get your best results. But we found that not many farmers do this, or even actually know what it is.
So I didn't know this one.
So that's the gap that we get into as Vitagrow, to be able to provide the freshest and most nutritious produce that you can find in you, and also the greatest selection that you can find.
So with this, because I'm seeing there are a number of them. The greenhouses, they are called the greenhouses, right?
Yes, the greenhouses.
Yes, I've seen a number of them. So how many are you providing or supplying? How many heads of?
So what we do is we employ a staggered approach.
Okay.
Right. So staggered approach basically means, let's say you have a capacity of 10,000 heads. You don't plant all of them at once, because the idea is, since we supply constantly every single week, right? Every week for 365 days a year, we supply 1,120 heads of lettuce to our various restaurants, supermarkets, and hotels.
A week?
A week.
1,000?
Yes, throughout the year, because we've got 9 restaurants that we're supplying. 2 farmers markets, and we also supply chains like Bon Marché, different food lovers as well.
like where are we in? Like we are in Harare, right? But
yes,
where are we
in
right
Harare.
now?
We're in right now we're in Vainona.
Vainona.
Yes,
And this farm is
Vainona.
in Vainona.
It's in Vainona, and a lot of our markets, for example, San Levy Village,
Yes.
Highland Park, Mount Pleasant, Belgravia, Broadwell Brook, places like that.
Ah, this is amazing.
So over here,
Hello.
we also got what's called microgreen.
Microgreens. Okay.
So microgreens are basically small plants that are for garnish.
Okay.
These are used to garnish your plants. You know, you've ever had a salad or a steak or something, and then you see these little greens sprinkled on.
Sprinkled on.
Yes. So per week here at Vitagrow, we supply around 2 kg of these every single week to our various, and we're also looking at expansion to supply even more markets. So these are called radish microgreens, and these are sunflower microgreens.
Oh. You know, I guys, I had never seen anything like this. You know, I'm actually I don't know what to say. So what is this one?
So this is just called what we call the blackout method. So you see, when you plant your seeds, the first few days, the first 3 days until germination, they don't like to have light, or they shouldn't have light.
Okay.
Right? For most seeds, they germinate in the dark.
All right.
Right. So if you have light, they won't germinate properly. So what we do is we just cover them. You see all these seeds there?
To make sure that they are.
Yeah, they're covered.
They are covered.
Once they germinate, then we remove these tops, and then they grow normally.
Okay.
So you see, so this is a tray that's been planted recently.
All right.
And soon after, I think about 4 or 5 days, it will look like this.
So it takes how long?
From seed to harvest, it takes between 6 to 7 days. And then it's like, so this is already ready for harvest.
You know, this is interesting. You're saying 7 days you're harvesting.
We're harvesting. We plant the seed, 7 days we're harvesting, we're going to market.
Hey. This is amazing, guys. I think you can see the work that is being done here. It's called hydroponics. Hydroponics farming.
Yes, that's correct.
And that's another variety, right?
Yes, that's another variety. So with lettuce, we've got so this is called fancy lettuce. So you've got the green variety and you've got the red variety.
Okay.
Like as you can see, this one is red.
All right. Yes.
Purple red, but it's just called red fancy
red,
lettuce.
yes.
So why they're different colors is it's used in you know, when you're making salads, like let's say in a restaurant, to make the salads colorful and attractive. So you add some green, some red, and some different varieties.
All right. So we are now getting into
our nursery.
The nursery.
Yes. So here at Vitagrow, what we do is we do all our seedlings from seed.
All right.
Why we do that is we want to control our
the whole
crop.
process.
Yes, the whole process. Because when you buy seedlings from somewhere else, you don't really know how they grow it, or what issues or diseases that the seedlings have been subjected to. So in most times, if you ask a lot of farmers, you can buy a healthy looking seedling, you plant it, after a week or two it starts to get diseased, and you wonder what went wrong or what happened.
All right.
It's just because you just don't have control of the whole process.
All right.
So it's just a preference here at Vitagrow. So what we do is we plant everything from seed.
Okay.
These are all our trays here with all the lettuce that we do.
All right.
And here we've got 65 trays right now with the capacity to get to 80.
All right.
It's just in here, as you can see, these are various things, various varieties of lettuce. Like this is baby leaf lettuce. Right,
baby leaf.
Yes, this is fancy lettuce. We've got romaine lettuce. We've also got edible flowers.
All right.
So there's another variety of edible flowers.
Edible flowers.
Yes, I'll show you a bit more when we go outside.
All right.
So we've got red lettuce, red fancy lettuce over there. We've got herbs. So this is parsley, this is coriander.
All right.
More baby leaf, a lot of baby leaf there.
All right.
It's called butterhead lettuce.
Butterhead lettuce.
Yes, I'll show you the grown version.
All right.
This is the romaine lettuce.
All right,
This is where it all starts.
It all starts.
Yes, because to get to production there, you need to make sure that you get a good foundation here.
Okay.
And because we do the staggering method I mentioned, it means that all these trays have to be labeled correctly and planted at a certain date to make sure that they mature at a certain date throughout the whole year. So it's quite a big job here, and Gift here is the one who handles our seedlings here
Yes.
at Political. As you can see, he's just checking quality control and making sure that everything is, is as it should be.
Hey, this is amazing. So it's like how long does lettuce take for it to get to harvesting?
To harvesting. So from seed in here, from seed to planting, like you can see this one. This one was planted on the 29th.
29th.
Right.
Okay.
So it's gonna be ready on the 20th of February.
Okay.
Right. So usually it just depends on the process, because in the ground what usually happens is like in most nurseries it takes 4 weeks from planting to transplant. Transplant is when they're ready to move the seeds.
To move the seed.
And either you're putting them in the ground or you're putting them in a hydroponic system. But for us, we take the seedling and we put it in our hydroponic system. So because of the way systems are and the way that the plants get nutrition, we can actually move our seedlings at 3 weeks, which is a week earlier than normal seedling places. Right? How we can do that is we can remove it because we're just going to put it in the channel, and immediately it's getting all the water it needs and all the nutrition it requires. So from seed to transplant is 3 weeks, and then in the system there it takes another 3 weeks in the hydroponic system. So on average from seed to harvest it takes between 6 to 7 weeks depending on the outside conditions as well.
Alright. So how much now do you sell these ones? Like how much do you, if I want to do this, how much do I sell one?
So one tray, depending on the variety, like for butterhead lettuce, one tray is $10. But for the normal lettuce, a tray is $5, and then for herbs, it's $4 a tray. A tray has 200 plants in it. So that's what we do, yes.
All right. A tray with 200 plants.
With 200 plants. We just give you the whole tray, like for example, like this.
All right.
And you just take the whole tray, you go and you transplant your 200 plants.
All right. Well, you are saying if I want the seedlings, I can come and get them.
Yes, if you want to buy the seedlings, yes.
All right.
Yes.
All right. So this one is going for $10 like this.
And the normal lettuce is $5.
All right.
And then the herbs are $4. So what we do is, this is mainly for our own use and consumption. But we have now we're now expanding our nursery and getting a bigger nursery so that we can also start to sell to other farmers. Because a lot of times a lot of farmers come and approach us and say, look, we would like to do the varieties that you are doing, but we can't really find them easily or consistently anywhere else.
I believe these ones are not easy to
getting into to selling and helping farmers. It's not just about the selling, but it's also helping farmers, because if you create a big enough market, it benefits everyone. Where now there's a market for fancy lettuce, a market for butter lettuce, then at least it really helps all the farmers to be able to, it puts up demand.
All right. So in other words, you are saying there is enough market for everyone.
Yes, I believe so. Because if you see, there's especially over the last year, if you've noticed, there's been a big increase in restaurants. Around Harare, and I guess around the whole of Zimbabwe. But there's been a vast increase in restaurants, hotels, and malls and places to eat. So that's creating a bigger demand, all the time, right, for things like that. And also, most recently, with COVID and stuff, people are now more health conscious.
That's very
They are now looking to eat a bit more, a bit healthier than they used to. So people are now looking to a lot of greens, lettuce, herbs, things like that, in order to improve their diet. So even personal consumers, there's also a big market for that. Farmers markets, supermarkets, and things like that. So I think this industry is only taking off, and I believe there's enough room and space and demand for everyone to join.
So you also train other farmers to set up something like this?
Yes, we do. So every month we have 2 training days a month, right, where people can come, and then we train them about hydroponic farming, the whole process from seed to harvest, the different type of systems, the different crops we do here. And we also offer tours as well. If you just want to come for a tour, not a train, just to see
what is happening.
Yes, you can book a tour with us and just come and see what's happening, and then decide if you want to do the training with us. If you do the training with us, then after that we've got various online groups of people we've trained. To date, we've trained over 120 people for hydroponics to date, and we also do school tours That's
Okay.
where we have students over.
Alright.
So after the training, if you then want to set up, we can also assist you in setting
Setting
up.
the whole thing up.
Yeah, setting up the whole system, the whole,
Alright.
according to your specifications and land, of course.
All right. Oh, that's interesting. So, what are the power sources that you need for you to run something like
So
this?
there's a lot of pumps involved,
Yeah.
right? Which means that you do need a constant supply of power. I think, especially in Zimbabwe, I think that's one of the drawbacks of hydroponic farming, because you need a strong backup,
Yes.
power backup system that's always on.
Yes.
Right? So over here we use solar power.
All right.
Right, we are completely off grid, so we
Oh.
use solar power, renewable energy.
All
As
right.
you can see, these are some of the panels that we use, and then the rest of them are up there.
Yes.
You can see all those
Up
panels.
there.
Yes, we
All right.
draw through them, and then we use an inverter, and then that's what we use to
But so, what's the size of
power
the system, like for this specific one?
for the solar system.
Yeah.
So over here we've got a 5 kVA solar system,
All
but
right.
I think we've got more panels. We just keep adding panels just
All
to make
right.
sure that even in the winter months, or when there's not too much sun,
All right.
we will always be powered.
All right.
But our power source is a 5 kVA inverter.
Oh, yeah, because a 5 kVA inverter, or maybe I can say a 5 kVA power system, is very affordable.
Yes, it's very affordable.
Very
It's just
affordable.
an initial investment, but then look,
You are
if you are willing to spend that initial investment, then you'll see that you won't even have problems with SESA or power or
Yes.
anything like that, even power cuts or outages.
All
There will
right.
be no
Because I actually thought maybe you need like a massive
no,
system.
because we use our pumps are not that big.
Okay.
I think it just depends with the size of the system. Some of our pumps are like 40-watt pumps, 50
Alright.
watt, and some are like 1 horsepower and stuff like that.
Alright.
So obviously, the bigger you get, or the bigger site that you get, you then need to just keep improving.
Adding.
But for this site, which is around 1,500 square meters, I think a 5 kVA inverter is good for us, and it's working for us. But if we then want to expand, or when we do expand to whatever hectareage or acres of hectareage, obviously you need
Yes.
a stronger system
Yeah,
to
that's
make sure
very
that
true.
everything is powered.
All right. So what else is in other?
Okay, so over here,
Yes.
as you can see, this is our 20 square meter greenhouse where we do English cucumbers.
English cucumbers.
Yes, so these are newly planted cucumbers, as you can see over here.
All
Let me
right.
show you. So this is what a 2-week-old cucumber looks like.
All right.
Right, cucumber plant, but it's gonna go big.
It will.
And it will grow very big,
Like
right?
this.
And from seed to harvest with cucumbers, it takes between 62 to 65 days.
All
And
right.
then you'll be harvesting for 4 to 5 months
Ah.
after that, yes. So what we
Alright.
do is this crop we plant, and then as soon as it's finished, we've got 2 greenhouses with cucumbers
Alright.
that are always on rotation. With a capacity of 1,200 plants, so we rotate them to make sure that we always have supply.
All right.
And if you can see here, this is actually, I'm sure you're wondering, I said we don't use dirt, but this is
Yeah.
actually not dirt. If you can see,
Uh,
this is what's called pine bark.
pine bark.
Yes, it's like pine trees. The
Okay.
husks of them
Or
is
pine bark.
pine bark. Yes,
All
like
right.
the bark of the
The
trees.
bark of a tree.
Yes, so,
So-
it's not soil. We don't use any soil whatsoever on our site. So the system is the same thing. There's a reservoir outside. Once the pump is switched on, the water with the nutrients starts flowing. And if you can see, there's an overflow here.
Yes.
And this is the return pipe that
It goes
returns water
go back to the-
reservoir. So it's still the same concept. It's just
Yeah.
here we use buckets because the roots of the cucumbers, or so in this system you can do either cucumbers, tomatoes, peppers, things with a bigger root mass.
Or bigger. Yes.
Yes, so that's the difference between the NFT and here.
And
because
this
the
one.
roots get quite big in here.
All right.
So they need enough space. That's why.
But the concept continues to be the
the
same.
concept. No soil, space saving, recirculating of water.
Yes.
Just the same concept, just a different delivery system.
And also, all right, can you say they are also organic?
Yes, they are, because we don't use any pesticides here.
Okay. Yes.
No pesticides, no herbicides, because we don't have any soil, and because we're in a greenhouse, we are much more protected than outdoors.
Outdoors,
So
yes.
you'll see that a lot of things that other farmers have to spray for, they don't affect us here. And even soil-borne diseases. The other advantage of not using soil is we don't have soil-borne diseases, things like nematodes, other issues that you can find in the soil. We don't have it because all our media is sterilized. So we don't have any of those issues.
And you know, it's also clean.
Yeah. It's clean. That's one of the factors.
You know, I'm loving how
really
it is.
like.
You can be wearing a suit.
Yeah.
You can be wearing a suit and you're farming. That's the beauty of doing something like this.
Definitely, that's one of the things that attracted me, definitely, and other youths.
Yes.
Is the cleanliness of it. Because you find that a lot of the youth of today don't really want to, or don't really do farming because they don't really like the conditions, the farming conditions, the dirt, the sun, you know. But with this, you can be, you know, in your urban area, you can just have your, you know, your project there, and it, like you mentioned, it's quite clean. As you can see, I'm not even wearing an overall. Yes,
because it's for you. If I meet you in town and you tell me you're a farmer,
no, I definitely would be like, no, this guy is like,
yeah, like yes. This is amazing, guys. I think you can see. So these wires, they are for the
trellising twines.
Okay.
You see these? So because we use the same greenhouse for the same crop all the time, when we finish the season, we remove everything, all the buckets, everything, and all these twines, so that we disinfect them. Right. So these wires right now, you see these wires are to hold the twines, right? That are going to hold the plants. So currently the trellising twine, or this black twine here, is getting disinfected. We put it gets disinfected in hydrogen peroxide, etc., and then after it's now ready, it comes back into the greenhouse. So this is just to make sure that there's no transfer of diseases from previous seasons to new seasons. So
the beauty of this also is you can use this same space to do the same crop.
Yes.
Soil
rotation, crop rotation. No. So we don't need to rotate our crop because all of this,
it's not the same soil.
It's not the same soil, and it's artificial, and we're not actually using the soil. So there's crop rotation, and there's also soil degradation. So for example, if you farm in the same space for a very long time, like in the soil, you start to, you know, the soil starts to lose its nutrition. And then that's when you now have to put a lot of fertilizers, a lot of things, just to be able to farm there. You see other people say, look, this land is not arable, or it's not, you know, it's not conducive to grow certain crops or crops at all. So with us, we don't have that problem.
There's no such thing as the soil has lost its whatever. You can just redo, like remove everything and start again.
Yes, that's correct.
Interesting. Guys, you can see there's concrete. I'm actually seeing concrete and it's clean. It's amazing. So I think we are going to be showing them some of the do you have some of them that are actually harvested?
Yes, I can show you some as well. Let me show you. Right now, currently, like I mentioned, we're actually in the process of packing and harvesting certain things that are going to go to market today. I think when we started, we used to do 3 days a week for deliveries, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. But now, as we go bigger and bigger and get more markets, basically every day we've got deliveries going. Every Monday to Friday.
365 days a year.
365 days. So there's different places that take all their produce on Monday, and some on Wednesday, some on Friday, some on Tuesday, some on Thursday. So we just make sure that we have enough people who are always working and doing something. Our other greenhouse. So if you remember the tower system I showed you in the first greenhouse, that was the first version, right? So now we've perfected that version, and we've made a whole greenhouse full of tower systems, right, in order to maximize the space. So you can come in and let me show you. So in this greenhouse, we are growing what we call butter lettuce. Remember butter lettuce I showed you in the nursery? Right? So if you can see, these are butter lettuce towers, right? So all of these towers are filled with butter lettuce that's growing, and you can see each of these towers, these are a bit shorter than the other ones I showed you. So these are I think it's 2 meters high, and each one holds 42 heads of lettuce. So in this total greenhouse, we've got 4,000 heads of lettuce.
Just this?
Yes, and this is a 65 square meter greenhouse. So the idea is per square meter, if you can see, you really maximize in terms of space.
Because we don't
definitely. So if you see, let me show you. So this is how they look.
This is amazing.
Yeah, so if you see a nice head, and you can see it's very clean, there's no pesticides, there's no snails, there's no pests, because it's in a greenhouse and it doesn't get exposed
and no scent
to any soil.
Yeah, that's very true. Because even if you chew
even if you can eat it, it's safe to eat it right now. Let me actually give you a taste. Let me know what you think.
Yes. So guys, I'm eating a lettuce. You can see how it is. No scent, no what. So I can just eat this
just like that. No need to wash it. Fresh and soft. Eh?
Fresh
so
and
that's
soft.
how it is. So if you see in here, there's a big root mass in here because they get bigger. So you see where I removed, the water is flowing down, as you can see, and it's going, and then it's getting collected again.
So here water will be flowing
through these pipes, and
through
then
these
it will
pipes.
drop in the tower,
and then
down
drop
there
in the
is
tower.
when, then it goes back
like that. It goes back to the
reservoir. So if you're putting it back, we just put it back nicely in there.
Yeah, this is interesting. So you mean to tell me that when you are harvesting, you just take it like that?
You just take it like that.
And when you remove it, you put another one?
You just put another one. Like
and
you
then,
see, for example.
And then life goes on.
Yes, these are smaller ones, as you can see.
Okay.
So this is newly transplanted, and it's going to grow to that size just now. So it's just a matter of pulling out.
You put another one.
You put it. There's no digging holes.
No digging holes.
Soil testing. There's no, things like that.
This is amazing. This
over
is
here,
amazing.
we've got that same green lettuce as well.
Yes. So this one is the one that you showed us. There.
Yeah, in the other greenhouse as well. We've got many more here as well. So if you can see here, right, I would like to show you something. One of the main questions that I always get asked is issues to do with setup costs. And actually, who can do it? Where can you do it? Do you need a greenhouse? Do you need some sort of structure? Right. So what we've been working on is these, what we call grow beds, right? Outside grow beds, right? So the idea is we've been trying to see if you can, we've been doing experiments to see if you can actually do hydroponics outside and what conditions can hamper growth, etc. So this is our creation that we made, and we're testing it. This is now our 4th month.
So this one is specifically your own.
Yes, I mean, like I said, with hydroponics, look, it's very hard to have your one idea, but you just take various aspects from the internet, etc., and then you create something in your own image according to what you want to achieve and your vision as well. So for us, this is our vision, let me say. So the idea is we're growing crops outside.
Okay.
As you can see, there's no covering.
There's no covering.
And there's no greenhouse cover, because with hydroponics, one of the main issues or factors of barrier is the greenhouse cost.
Yes.
Right, a greenhouse, especially metal greenhouses, etc., they cost quite a lot.
Yeah,
so
that's
lots
true.
of people would not be able to enter into hydroponics because of that. So what we're doing, we created these beds in order to supply the normal average person who maybe just wants to do some backyard farming or a small project of theirs, but they don't have the cash or capital to start by putting up a greenhouse. So it's the same concept here. Let me show you. Here we're growing red lettuce.
Yes.
This is our reservoir.
Yeah. All right.
As you can see, same sort of system. Water is moving back and forth. And all the water is going through these plants and then going back there. So we've got different designs that we work with. There's this wooden design that we really like, and then there's also this metal design.
Metal design.
Yes, with the white. So it's just a matter of choice. But after our test, we're going to be able to tell which system works best. Is it even possible to do it outside, and what crops work for outside? So yes, these are the ones.
Yeah, that's very true, because I know many people will say this is something that I would love to do, but I can't. I don't have the money to set up greenhouses like this. So if you've got this, I can put it at my home, even in Glenview. This one,
exactly.
I can put it at my home.
You are, you can put up something like this,
and then I can be having
and start practicing smart farming, smart agriculture.
Yes, that's very true. This is interesting. So can you tell me, how really did you start? What really happened for you to end up getting into this?
Okay, so I think if I go back to when I started this, I think it was a bit of luck and maybe a bit of fate.
Yes.
But I kind of stumbled across greenhouse farming and hydroponics farming kind of by mistake, because what happened was I went to university in China, and I
Okay.
did international trade and finance.
All right.
Then after I did my degree, I taught English for a couple of years in China to
Okay.
Chinese students. But after a while, I got sort of, disenfranchised, I would say, by staying, in a foreign land.
Yeah, that's true.
I just had a feeling that I would like to come back home, start my family and, start my life and start doing something, back home.
Yes.
So in 2018, I took the big risk to come back home. I left everything and then I came back home.
Oh, so you left everything in China?
Yes, my
And then
job and
yes.
etc. And then
you
I said,
decided to just come back
to
to
come back
Zimbabwe.
home. I didn't have a plan, but I just thought, look, let me just, at home is home. I'd been there for like 7 years, I think. So it had obviously coming back and forth, but then it had been a long time settled there. So I decided, look, my future as I see it is in Zimbabwe.
Yes.
And I want to be in Zimbabwe.
So did you have a specific plan? If I go to Zimbabwe, I'm gonna do this.
No, I didn't. And actually, a lot of people thought I was crazy. The road to entrepreneurship is not a very easy one.
Yeah, it's not easy.
Sometimes you don't really know, but you just get a feeling. And sometimes if you go with your gut feeling, things can work out. Sometimes they can't. But for me, I'm lucky that they did work out. So I just said, let me just go. I'll see what happens when I get there.
All right.
So when I came here, obviously I was looking for something within my degree.
Okay.
So something in finance, etc. But then I took a couple of CVs around, but
so it's like you looked for a job, eh?
yes, but it didn't work out. It didn't work out,
I
right?
understand.
So after a while, I just thought, maybe it's just not for me, right?
Yeah.
And then I stumbled across someone who was doing greenhouse farming. But not hydroponics, but just in the ground.
Greenhouse,
but
yes.
I really liked it, and I had a little bit of money that I had saved up from working in China. So I thought, look, let me just put it there before I eat it all or spend it all on get rich quick schemes, right? So I was still living in Westgate with my parents, so we had a very big backyard. So I asked my mom if I could put up a greenhouse in the backyard, and she said, okay, sure. So I put it there, and then, like I said, I wasn't a farmer at all. So
I actually wanted to ask, because I thought you had to go and do a course in China or something.
No, I didn't.
You were not a farmer,
not at all. I didn't even like farming, but I just thought, I liked business. I was more of a businessman. So I thought, look, this is something that I can do and generate revenue for me while I look for a job. That was the idea. But after a while, it then just became
something that you love.
Yes, that I love. So like I mentioned, I was doing it in the soil, right?
Yes.
And then I was also lucky enough that I got some partners who partnered with me from the UK.
Okay.
And then we started, so when I started, I was alone, obviously, but after a little bit, I got some partners who started and helped me with funding, as well as, ideas with, commercializing a project, etc. So we've been doing that since 2019.
2019.
Yes, that's what we've been doing. And then along the way, we came across hydroponic farming as well. And then we loved it so much that eventually we switched everything to hydroponic farming. And then we just started adding greenhouses. And then we, along the way as well, we also partnered with a telecoms company here in Zimbabwe called Telco.
Okay.
And with their help as well, we're now looking at commercializing, our enterprise into very large scale.
Like very large scale.
And eventually looking at export as well.
All right.
So basically, that's my journey. That's how I got here. From there to here.
All right.
A lot of luck along the way, but
And
sometimes,
when you are committed, and if you say I'm gonna do this, obviously they say the universe will start opening up for you.
Definitely.
It's amazing.
So I'm very fortunate for that.
Yes, it's amazing. So what would you like to say to people? There are people who are in the diaspora. Most of the people who watch some of the videos, they're in the diaspora. Someone phoned me, and he was crying, like literally crying, and I said, "What's wrong?" And he said, like, I didn't know I could do some things like this in Zimbabwe. You understand? So what is it that you can say to anyone who is also in the diaspora, who is saying, I would love to be in my home country, I would love to come back to Africa, but I don't know, like, I don't know. What can you say to them?
So for people like that, my advice is sometimes you just have to go with your gut. There's a lot of things happening in Zimbabwe. I know there's a lot of naysayers, there's a lot of doom and gloom, especially when you're abroad.
Yes.
But the truth is, if you work hard and you persevere in Zimbabwe, you can make it, and you can even make it better than in the diaspora. Here, there's a lot of potential for growth.
Yeah.
Right. You can own your own things. You can be, you can be your own person. So I would really advise people who are thinking of doing something in Zimbabwe, maybe to visit. Sometimes people stay out of the country for 10 years or so.
Yes,
and
yes.
things change.
Yes.
And there is a lot of things that are happening currently. There's a lot of youth as well that are engaging in different projects as well.
Yes.
So I'd encourage people to come to Zimbabwe, come for a visit, have a look around, and you can be surprised that you'll find something that you didn't think was happening.
Yeah, that's very true.
In the end, you might just be able to, come in and invest or do something, to your liking in Zimbabwe, and then
Yeah, it makes sense. Because this guy who called me, he said, I left Zimbabwe 22 years ago. That is what he said. So according to him, he thinks like there's nothing happening in Zimbabwe. That's the thing. So yeah, it's true, guys. Sometimes all you need is to just maybe visit. Just come. If you don't have anywhere to come, you can come to Vita Grow.
Yes,
I'm gonna be putting his numbers, and then obviously he will explain to you a lot of things, and probably it will actually get you to have an idea of what you want to try and do. Okay, so to the young people who say,
to the young people, I would say please try hydroponics. It's a very smart way of farming, and it's something that integrates not just farming but also business, marketing, logistics, cold chain management. So if you notice, actually on my site, I don't know if you notice, most of my employees are actually the youth.
Yes,
So
young people.
We take a lot of interns from different universities, the University of Zimbabwe, Africa University, Chinoy University, Midland State University, every single year.
Yes.
Why we do that is because if you remember in my story, when I came here, I struggled, when I came back to find something, and I find that there's not enough support for the youth in Zimbabwe. That's one thing where, if you're not connected, or if you don't get lucky, etc., it's very hard for you as a young person to actually make it, right? So what we try to do at Vitago is to empower the youth, right? So I find that working with the youth here, teaching them new ideas, it really helps. And like I was mentioning, a lot of them have different backgrounds.
Yes.
Right? Some are doing biotech, some are doing technology like IT infrastructure, some are doing engineering, some are doing town planning. But with hydroponics, because there's so many different elements and aspects, you can have a different background and you can find somewhere to fit in.
Yes.
So that's the good thing about hydroponic farming. You just don't have to say, okay, I'm going to come do farming. If you're doing marketing, you can come market for us. Or if you're doing engineering, you can help us, design new systems,
some of these things,
greenhouses or structures. If you're doing electrical engineering, you can help with the power solutions. The list is endless. So I would say for the young people, please look into hydroponic farming.
Yes.
It can just be something that takes you from where you are to where you want to be, and it's also fun and clean.
Very true. Because the way I'm seeing everything here, guys, you can actually see that you can see there's panic attach kitchen model in everything, the way you've done everything here. I love it.
No, thank you very much.
I believe I'm gonna have to. You guys, if you watch my videos, I will make money, and then I'll have something like this.
No, and thank you very much for coming. We really appreciate it. Thank you for coming and helping us spread the word. That's all it's about, spreading the word and empowering as many people as we can to also join into the revolution and also empower themselves and their families. So thank you very much for that opportunity.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for allowing me to come and also show people. I know this one is going to be something, because but I'm happy to ask the young people. We are now getting into these things. It is good for us, and also it's good for even the future generations as well. It's good for us. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Are you considering buying solar for installation back home? Kumoja is the easy, safer, and more affordable way to buy solar from the diaspora. Buy now and pay later. Pay in affordable monthly installments. Get approval decision within minutes. Get your solar once you pay just your deposit. Don't just buy solar with Kumoja. Get help with your other projects back home too. Kumoja, building back home. Easier, safer, and better. WhatsApp +44 77 634 98401. Visit our website on www.kumoja.com.